I'd like to bring the Ayer Board of Health meeting for Monday, March 25th to order. I'd like to first, before public input, introduce our new administrative assistant, Heather Hampson, who's not new to Town Hall, but new to us, that Jane has taken a position at the Council on Aging. So welcome and thank you so much for stepping in. Public input, we have none. So the first thing
that's very quiet.
yeah, first on the agenda is the Harvard Road Global Partners, the septic plan review and approval for us to sign. I don't think.
Did Bridget already get to that?
Yes. And then she signed it.
This is Julie's.
This is what's gonna be really good, what happened in this position.
Yes.
Do you know what everybody
They
else is
actually
gonna
came
do?
in today and is taking their signatures for their permit, and I don't know if they're doing the demo separate from the actual building, but they're gonna submit that later in the week.
Wow.
So, although then they didn't have the whole thing with them, so.
I was
Yes.
sitting next to their attorney the other night at a meeting, and he said that when they came up with the plan, it was really, you always hope this is New England, we can start in March. But
Yeah.
but it's usually not
Right.
realistic, and I asked him, and he said, well, I think it's April.
Wow.
It'll take 30 days or so, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to review the plans anyway,
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
So we are right here under, this is Bridget's, I'm assuming.
When you sign it, it's 3, is it 3 days?
Oh, yeah,
There's
right
five
here,
dashes,
here, and here.
yeah. And then you just, here,
Yeah.
here. Yep.
These are hers.
Yeah, that's right. She signed it wrong. She signed where the installer signs to pick it up. By mistake. Yeah, all three of you have to sign this?
Mhm.
Here you go, Mary. So what do you think, like a month or so before they start?
So he said he was gonna.
Can they demo before?
Well, he has to get their permit, so I said he only has the signature page. They do that. So I don't know what the permit is for, it's just for the demo.
Yeah.
Or they're doing demo as part of the construction, sometimes they
Yeah,
do one
yeah.
approve the other, so.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll have one of those in by the middle of the week, so we'll start that, and then
Wow.
they have to have, I think, the septic permanent, at least, they usually construct that first, so they might actually do it in part of the demo, they might put something septic in.
Yeah. But that's gonna really change the way that entrance into the air looks. It's gonna be really different.
I approve septic, water, and sewer in order to get the building permit.
Okay. So to review and approve the minutes of March 11th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2019.
Yes, I will second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
And just to follow up on something in here, I did talk to Bridget, I think the day after, and where the beer and wine license is transferring.
Yes.
The market is going
Oh, yeah.
to become Ayer Beer and Wine Corp.
I'm not following. I thought that this was a separate, right next to where
No.
the market is now.
The license is transferring and the market is going to go away, and then it will be Ayer Beer and Wine in the same place. Because they have the same address.
Right.
Except one said 2000, what was it, something D.
Right, but then on the other one, it was like, I don't know,
But it's in the
4 or something, or whatever.
You know why? Because I was sitting next to Tom, and he was
Yeah.
the attorney at the selectmen's meeting, and I asked him, and he said, no, it's a space right next to the current market, and eventually they may take over the whole thing, but right now It's just going to be there. And I thought of you because you like different things, and she said something about having Japanese beer.
Oh.
Well, you always like to try different things, and I said,
Yeah, I guess it could be a transitional thing, but the way Bridget explained it,
well,
it's,
that's all I know.
yeah, that's
I sat next to you.
kind of what's happening here.
Japanese beer.
And what about the other place? Is it ever opening or? The
Donuts,
know.
March 29th.
Yeah, they got their certificate of occupancy today, but
Yeah.
they did pick it up. It's still $50.
Wow.
I saw some signs on some lawns and on social media that
Okay.
March 29th they were gonna be opening. Okay. All right, so our ongoing review of the Board of Health regulations continued from February 25th.
Yeah.
Review prohibiting smoking in and on public property and places, the discussion about proposed provisions and changes. We did not hear back from Joan Hamlet, so
No, it
Don't
sounds
know
like we need
how
to start trying
far.
to chase her down too.
I think so.
yeah.
I think so, because
Yeah.
if we don't get it done
Yeah.
by May, she might as well forget it for this, because we're going to go into town meeting. You know, it's a busy
Yeah.
time. You have your graduations and your proms, and
Yeah.
we've got a special town meeting coming up in June,
Mm.
and then everybody will be pretty much going out on their.
It would
Summer
be nice to have
schedule.
it for the beginning of summer, but I don't think it's undoable.
So is that something, is there an email or a phone call that needs to go out, Heather, for, do you have the email address from,
I'm sure
I can, yeah, we can
try
try and track it down through Jane.
John Hamlet is her name.
We must have that.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's gotta be
upstairs.
upstairs somewhere on
Yeah.
the last,
And if not, you can email me and I'm
and
pretty
Jane,
sure
I
have
can,
her.
we can always text Jane and find out for sure where it would
Yeah.
lie. Like to get
I'm
on.
trying to, what is it called? Northeast, what is it? Central Mass
Central-
Tobacco Line.
Central
Oh,
Mass
that's
Tobacco Alliance.
Yeah.
Alliance. Okay. Yeah, so that's tabling that.
Yeah, and then on the aquifer, when I spoke to Bridget, I'm pretty sure it was the day right after our meeting, she said that she was going to look at it to make revisions to, kind of make it work with the zoning. And I said, well, I already made a whole bunch of changes, so
Yeah.
I'll just send you what I have, and you can do what you think needs to be done with them. If you think if you want to keep some, if you want to change them, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Just,
And
this
it's
might
like-
give you something to start from.
So,
she's doing that. I don't know what her estimated time is, but I think as part of that, probably, I think she's trying to bring you in, Heather, too, as well, to see,
yes,
having the two documents sound like you have to submit two complete packages is not really the way we want to do this. So if, we just kind of have to make it work sort of seamlessly. So that might even want to be something that if Bridget hasn't talked to you, that you want to take a look at, is how could you make our
Yeah.
health regulation mesh with,
Yeah, we had spoke about it 2 weeks ago or so.
yeah.
It's more or less a matter of the way I see it. I'm not an authority in any means. I just have an opinion. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Is to change your regs to basically state that on behalf of the permanent granting authority and take out Board of Health altogether and refer to the zoning bylaw. And at that point, and then it would stay in there that it's the planning board. And then that way, if it were to change again, you're not going back through and changing your regulations to where the special permanent granting authority is. If it just says that and then references the zoning bylaw, then somebody can check that or call them off.
So we had talked about that, and we had decided to go in a somewhat different direction, and that's where Bridget was coming from too, and that was to have a Board of Health regulation
Yes.
that it still exists kind of in parallel to zoning, but it wouldn't default to approval by the planning court.
Yes, and the zoning bylaw doesn't, default to the planning board, it does say in.
Yeah, it says in
that-
consultation
because,
or something,
And
yeah.
we did, and the last one we did was held, the last one and the one before that ended up getting withdrawn was held up due to Board of Health comments.
Yeah, so maybe that's really the parts we need to look at, is how do we make
So
that in
it's not
consultation clear?
The Board of Health is left out at all,
Yeah,
it's just, it's all because of how the show and everything work, it's all being done for Bridget.
yeah,
One plus to me being here, if you had any questions of what was going on, tomorrow, I plan with me, tell you what happened, what they were doing, exactly what happened, what was told,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Good resource.
yeah, I think the thing that we wanted to make sure that we preserved was that in the event that we had a disagreement where a planning board was saying, or ZBA, oh, yes, we can grant this, and Board of Health was saying no, that we have kind of co-equal, I don't know, whatever you would call it, authority or,
I won't anticipate
for that.
the planning board would say yes, when the Board of Health said no.
Right, it doesn't seem likely, yeah, but that was the.
Yeah, and I said, I wouldn't say anything changing your regulations, keep them in there all you want. My only suggestion was to take the special grant authority out from the Board of Health and just leave it
Yes.
as, just leave the grant authority, and that way it references whoever that authority is.
Yeah.
No, I could agree, you have your situations, you have your conditions that you want met, that's fine. No more
Yeah.
time writing those, and it should stay somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to do too, is just take us out as the special permit. Right.
That's my only
we
comment.
talked about.
Yeah.
But not to change.
So
that.
my version has, you actually have a permit that comes from Board of Health, but I'm not even really that hot on, we have to issue a permit. So you don't have to have two
Maybe,
permits.
so as far as the Board of Health submits a letter, signed by the three of you or whatever, that then goes to the Board of
Yeah,
Health, the
actually, that
planning
would-
board, and then just reference as part of the special permit.
I'm sure there's some way we can.
Some way you can
so
figure that
don't
out.
have two different, two different permits, but Bridget's pretty up on the way that, that we want to do it. So that's good for Bridget.
Can we skip back? Yeah, I was taking notes and we got over it so quickly on smoking on public property. Again, what did you anticipate changing on our current regs?
We had, let me see if I have, from a previous version, we talked about a bunch of things, talked about buffer zones, we talked about including nursing homes, we talked about, I think it's making my head difficult. Let's see. This one might have something about this stuff. Buffer zones was one, private clubs was one, nursing homes.
Well, first of all, private clubs is just that, so you don't really have anything to say on private clubs, because that's what they're called, private clubs.
I don't know if that's in the true. Is it?
Because, and Barry let us know that the gun club had changed and become non-smoking.
Right.
Because that was the one that we had had a complaint on years ago, and we had to explain to someone, it's a private club.
Exactly.
I know, but I went down there and they're smoking. I know, it's a private club. You don't have to be there.
She has that as a yes or no question for us, and I thought we said we wanted that to be a yes for banning. It's smoking, and that's why we checked with the rod and gun to just see, I mean, is that going to adversely affect anything we're doing now?
He let us know that they actually changed.
Right, so now is the time to do it because we're not running afoul of any existing, club. We're not going against what any existing club is doing, and if a new private club comes in, then they would have to abide by that. So it was that, then there was the hotels, motels, B&Bs.
See, Joan was going to be checking on
Outdoor
it. That was the
restaurants,
thing,
yes, she
remember?
was.
That was one of the things she was going to
She's
do.
gonna go to a couple of
Yeah, she was.
establishments that had tables outside.
Yes, right. But those were you would just ask what were the changes, those are the areas where there were
I don't
changes.
think I have mine with me tonight.
And then we added in here, use of e-cigarettes prohibited wherever smoking is prohibited.
Right,
So that was the gist of
and that again
the changes.
came from Joan when she said, remember that she had got contacted by a school that 3rd and 4th graders were
Yeah.
vaping.
Yeah, all of this is coming from,
That was awful.
all of this is coming from.
I mean, as far as public property, in fact, we walked out last week, I walked out with the DPW superintendent and I said, oh my God, look at this, it's all cigarettes in between the bricks when you come up here.
Yeah.
And he reiterated that he had spoken to his people and said you cannot be smoking when you're driving vehicles. These
Yeah.
town vehicles are municipal property.
Yep, so that was the gist of the changes.
So we're waiting for more information from Joan then, really, on that.
Yeah, we are. According to my notes, the private club we took care of, but she was also going to go to, a couple of the
Yeah.
motels,
Right.
like kind of longer term occupancy.
Right.
Public transportation, I also have circled as something she was going to look at. So that would be
Oh, the train
for right now, the
over there.
train, and then if we ever did a bus or taxi
Right.
stand or something, we'd find that.
Yeah, she did say something about that.
Yeah. So, that's that.
All right, so not much discussion on those two until we hear back from Bridget and Joan.
Right.
Neshoba boards of health material from Bridget Cars. Osawa. Mr.
Just kind of take out from any other day.
I was just gonna ask you.
Yes, I did.
We got the
You
flyer
got
through
the
the mail,
the
yeah.
menu came in the mail.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's get right on this.
I'm reading this because it's a new format, and we had seen this last time. This was in reference to the dishwasher being a proper temp. And then they have all these in and out boxes now. Left info for procedures for responding to sicknesses. Good hygienic practices, I don't know why, well, in is in compliance, okay, out of compliance. So, just that one, and hand washing sinks, required records available, making sure the food is separated and protected. And mostly it's time and temperature control for safety. And she left some more information on the consumer advisory there. And it was a routine inspection.
So they're like a 6 month or.
Yeah, and then we're down here, it says date of the inspection, 24 hours, so then on the next page she went, that was on.
Oh, is that because of the
20th.
dishwashers?
Yeah, probably the
Yeah.
temperature.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have yet to go in there, and everyone I talked to said really good things about them. The next one is, this is the property that we mentioned last time on West Street. there was a hazmat complaint last time, and it's Chan J is the owner, and Cheryl Robbie
Oh.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah,
Remember that one?
yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah. One more fine, endangered material safety. Ordered to correct all other violations listed in the enclosed inspection report within 30 days. And it was the heating.
Yeah.
This was the same one, February 26th, so he's had enough to come up. Yeah. And just a copy of the letter that she sent.
But nothing, we don't know yet if he's
Nothing.
corrected everything. Or is it just about a month?
The first one was February 26th. So,
Oh.
yeah.
The next time we should
Yeah.
have something.
Then Karen's Kitchen, it was just her permit for milk and ice cream. Northeast Hot Fill, it's 25 Copeland Drive, carbonated non-alcoholic. This has got to be,
Carbonated water.
yes.
Yeah.
Same one. So those are from Neshoba Associated. And then we have, not any bills per se, but we have some things to sign. The barn inspector stipend for Julie.
Yeah.
It's completed and mailed the MDAR book. The Ayer Board of Health authorizes payment of the annual stipend in the amount of $2,600 to Animal Inspector Julie Thomas.
Yep.
And I have two copies here, Heather, but this is the one that we signed.
Yeah, you signed on the memo, the rest, that's just her saying that she sent everything to you.
Right. I had a second copy there, and I know the rest. So is this just going back in? Yeah, this is just copy.
I may have made too many copies, I apologize.
That's how, it doesn't, there's never too many copies. Okay.
Too many.
No. All right. That
File.
signed. There's, let's see, oh, and then Jane's resignation. So we accept that, but there's nothing that was supposed to be her, that she signs, so we need to get that to her, right?
Well, I'm sure she submitted it.
She submitted it, so we don't have to worry, so that's just part of our copy. Which one are you looking at right now, Ms. Capano, this,
Oh, I was looking at the Omni, yeah.
the Omni?
Yeah. Where am I? There. Yeah. The diesel,
Yeah, this is
diesel spill.
it's from Robert in regards to the phase 1 initial site investigation and tier classification, so that's the tank up there at Page Hill
Right.
Elementary. Okay,
We mentioned that last time, I think.
so it just shows the,
Figures, but that thing would be railroad wetlands.
yeah, figure 6 wetlands overview. The attached legal notice will appear shortly in local newspaper. 3 plans showing the disposal site areas are attached. So that was, is that just a year? Did that happened? The original spill? About a year?
February last year, yeah.
Yeah. It's looking pretty late, it feels like it was about a year.
Yeah. So that will be a work in progress for how long? Then we have the mosquito control project. Copy was sent to the school superintendent. Should the school district or board of health request mosquito spraying due to either mosquito virus activity or high mosquito population counts, an IPM plan that includes central mass mosquito control and the products, and it goes on, must be on file. So if you request.
Yeah, this one kind of caught my attention because it was unusual.
Yeah.
It looked like one that,
Because we usually get stuff from them that is pretty generic, that just tells
Yeah,
you when
says
they're
it,
spraying in
yeah,
the summer,
yeah.
things like that. But that, yeah, this is the first time. So you can file an outdoor plan that'll allow them to apply a larvicide to the mosquito breeding areas such as catch basins and wetlands.
So this is just because it's on stuff that's on school property. I think there are other stuff goes on.
So- That's something that you have to request, or the school has to request that they want that larvicide?
Yeah.
Or the Board of
Yeah.
Health, because it seems to, it mentions both in this letter.
Yeah, it looks to me that they're saying that they only spray for adult mosquitoes upon request of the school administrator or the Board of Health.
Right.
So if we want to request it, then we have to do this integrated pest management plan and file this with DAR. So I would see what the school
Does.
wants to do that.
Right.
I mean, unless the school says they're having a problem that they don't think that this can control.
Yeah, this is the first that we've ever seen
In that form.
in reference to
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
So that's something for Ms. Malone to decide on, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
And this is the DEP notice of audit findings, Page Hilltop. Audit inspection conducted, Central Regional Office, no violations identified. And we have so that was all the same thing?
Yeah,
Mostly
that's
the
all
mail.
related
Oh, okay, that other thing that Heather,
to the diesel.
okay. This is Jane's, right there.
Is all signed?
Yeah. Then the public information session, I missed it and I really wanted to go. That's already gone by. It was about the zoning bylaw to regulate the type and location of the establishments.
Yeah, I missed it too, I was gonna try to catch it.
So, were you at this?
No, the public hearing for
Yeah.
that though, for the Board of Health, the planning board will be on April 9th.
Okay.
So, that'll let you, so you'll see that public hearing, I believe it should be on the board now, but, so it'll be basically the same sort of presentation at that point. Part as well, so if you wanna
So,
come to that.
I guess my question is, if we've already given the green light, if they had, this is totally.
This is completely different. There's several different aspects to the marijuana, recreational marijuana law that was passed.
Yeah,
First, transportation, crafting, distribution,
All that.
growing, all that, and that's what's covered in the new bylaw that's
okay,
being proposed. retail sale is one portion of a bigger.
Yeah.
And so that public hearing, that's gonna be to review the proposed bylaw?
Yes.
When is that bylaw going in as part of town meeting?
Yeah, and
The
the
June
town
town
meeting.
That's the June one.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
The Devon's thing, and then
Yeah,
this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be like on new zoning, that's gonna be in June.
Okay.
Kind of separated out from the regular town meeting.
Public Works, written proof of notice of landfill operation, Ayer sanitary landfill. To Mr. Jim McQuaid. Notice of accordance with final permit, it's the permitting of the notice of landfill operation, so that goes on in the town. Providing this letter is written proof that notice of landfill of the operation of Ayer sanitary has been recorded in the deed at Middlesex Registry of Deeds. That's all that is. Oh, great. Notice to municipal animal inspector of possible exposure to rabies.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, an animal bite. Date of notice on the 20th, date of exposure the 8th, the dog, Longview Circle. So we're just being notified.
Dog get a,
Person does.
in a dog.
Animal bitten or scratched by another.
yeah.
Okay, and then getting back to the mosquito control project. This is the.
Yeah, is that kind of the
Yeah,
normal?
the normal
thing?
law of
Yeah.
mosquito control in your community, and they can usually get that information on our, we usually put that on the,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
on the website
Yeah.
when we commence. And then this TikTok,
Okay.
looking for information about the life cycle of the ticks, tick testing, the epidemiology of the disease, how to get your tick tested, emerging threats.
Oh, yeah.
The new species and the new
Yeah,
viruses and the
yeah.
new diseases that come out. So it's, they're having a presentation by Stephen Rich, he's a UMass lab, from the UMass Laboratory for Medical Zoology. And that's gonna be Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. in the Harvard Upper Town Hall, if anyone is interested in that. Because there's
She
so
mentioned
much,
that, the lady from Harvard, at our last executive board meeting.
so much stuff for disease that they have now. It's not just Lyme.
I know.
And it came through via email, I think you guys might hear about, so.
Yeah.
That's
The
good.
rest of it's mostly just.
And this is, I can't believe more.
More mosquitoes.
More mosquito. Yep. Oh, this mentions the same thing. Purpose of becoming compliant with Children's Protection Act.
Yeah.
Schools update their current outdoor IPM plan, so the school gets a copy of that too.
Okay.
All right, so that is that. Yeah. So we have to wait to hear from Bridget and wait to hear from, or we'll reach out to Joan. So those will go back on for action items for April 8th. Is there anything else?
I was just going through the sheet we had before, remember?
Yeah. With the regs.
Because if we had reviewed some and we were just going to get some of the slips of paper and sign that we had reviewed them and there were no changes. And I thought one of them, because I think Bridget had already seen it, was outdoor wood burning boiler regulations. Did we? I don't think we signed one, but she had seen ours. And I don't think we were going to change them because ours are pretty strict. We did have a couple of people that applied for them, but they never put through them.
Yeah, I don't remember if Bridget
I think,
specifically reviewed that and had the input. Or...
I think she had said she'd check with the state to see if they changed anything. But I believe that ours were very strict to begin with because we had a lot of input because of what was going on.
Yeah.
The, shall we say, irregular one that was down.
Yeah.
It's the wood burning.
Outdoor wood burning.
Outdoor wood burning.
And the floor drains was the other one that I
That's, yeah, kind of in her. But but we'll need that for the next meeting, you know, one of those that I think we reviewed. Remember Jane gave us one for a couple of the ones that we had reviewed so that you could go in with the regulation and give the date.
Oh,
Remember?
Yes.
We signed a couple, instead of having to take in the whole new thing, we just clipped that to the back of the regulation. So I think one of them would be the solid waste.
Uh-huh.
Because we're not got waste haulers, we haven't had any
that one we
complaints.
did. I think we did that one.
Did we sign it though? Because I don't
I think
have
so. I
here
remember
that.
signing the forms for two, and I thought it was solid waste.
I have
I don't
the
remember
keeping
what
of
else.
animals, 11419.
Right, we signed for that one because that
And
did change.
Moratorium on groundwater wells in the town of Ayer, we affirmed that on 11419. So those two we
Oh,
did.
Okay, then maybe we need to look at,
But I do believe that we said because of the solid waste and we haven't had any complaints yet, that we could just
yeah, there
sign off
wasn't
on that.
anything
There was nothing new.
that had changed.
No.
So one thing you might want to take a look at, Heather, is, I don't know if we have a really good way of controlling, when we do a regulation, we will put on the bottom of it, adopted on this date.
Mhm.
And then we'll add to that footer, it was amended on such and such date. And then some of them have, reviewed on such and such date. And then we have there's a signature page that I think this is a little difficult to track. So we'll have when it was originally passed, reviewed with no changes on a certain date, but then if it was reviewed and there were changes, where do we record this information? How do we track it in footers or like in a change history block or something within the document? So if we're going to set, look at reaffirming some more of these regulations, maybe we just want to look at what format we're using for that. And is that the thing that makes the most sense or not?
Because I thought that's why we were doing those new little forms that we signed. For
True,
example, with
but-
solid waste, we approved it 5/18/2015. So, and I think you brought it up at one of our meetings this year that, well, we probably should look at it because it's 4
Yes,
years old. But we also said we haven't had any complaints.
Right, so we have a format for, it was enacted on a
Correct.
certain date, and then it was reviewed with no changes, and then we sign it off again. But then, as time goes on, so now you have one that was, and this carries in the footer of the document, it was adopted on a certain date,
Mhm.
then it was amended on a certain date,
Mhm.
then it was reviewed with no changes on a certain date. Then perhaps down the road it was revised on a certain date. So if we keep doing these things and just putting them on a piece of paper that is
So what
attached to it, you kind of lose the traceability between, where did you lose that piece of paper?
So what you're saying is there needs to be some kind of digital file
Yeah, there
up
needs to be
there
a spreadsheet.
that says Board of Health regulations.
Or I
And-
think, yes, that actually would help, or it could be a paper file, I'm not saying that, but I think what would really help is if we did, do you know what I mean when I say revision history?
Yes,
Well, it's almost like on a drawing.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah. So you have some way of tracking on this date, original release.
Yes.
On this date was revised, minor changes. On this date, reviewed, no. So then you kind of have this thing that's part of the document that tells you that you have the current version. So it's
So we're
kind
not
of
doing
date
this all the
control.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have these pieces of paper that are just attached to something.
So typically, what I've done with other boards have done for us, have done it, so usually when you change something, similarly change a bylaw,
Yeah,
it'll say adopted on such date, revised on such date, and there it is.
okay.
Legally, you have to keep every version. So if
Yes,
you do a bylaw and it goes to public hearing and then it's revised and then it goes to town meeting and it gets revised, you have to keep every single version of that, and that's all kept in a file digitally and
Yeah,
usually in a file form. But the one that people will physically actually can read will just have original adopted date with revision date, and that's it.
So we wouldn't have. a
So
cover sheet
that way you're
somewhere.
not looking at something that has 6 different signature pages.
yeah,
You don't typically need to see,
yeah,
it'll be up there.
yeah.
But the board will typically have that in there, but it's not
Okay.
what's published.
That's what
And I
I'm
think that's
looking
what-
to
yeah.
make sure that we're using a
Yeah.
system that makes sense.
Yeah, so
to-
it'll
to
be
do
whether it's a footer or something in the heading that says that it was originally adopted, revised on this day, revised on this day.
Right.
When you've
right,
reviewed it with no changes, I mean, someone has a question on it, I'd have a list of that, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
a need to have it unless it's up to the board, they wanna have that listed on the, regulation itself.
Yeah, I think as long as there's something that says, what's the current version of this document? How do I know I have the current version? Whether it was reviewed with no changes, I don't so much care about, but this one that's dated October 11th, 2000, is that the current version? Okay, that's the current version.
So are you thinking something like Mary has that list there with the dates, listing each reg, then current version, and
Well, I'm saying Heather has some experience doing this.
so some kind
on the
of,
board, so I'd rather
Yeah.
let you take a look at it and see, what do you think makes the most sense for
Is
us?
it something that
Or
you guys
take
are
advantage
doing
of
all
your
at the same time, or are you just doing certain ones each year? Because that would be the best way, because if you're gonna do all of them,
Yeah.
then you can just say they've all been revised 2019.
but we don't.
But you know what I mean?
No,
Yeah,
we
we
don't,
don't.
because they all came into effect,
Different
different
times.
dates, different years. This year said we had a couple, like the trash hauler that, yeah, had been out there a few years, let's take
4
another
years,
look at it, yeah, 4 years. Then there were some that had been out that, longer than that, like the wood burning stoves, or not stoves, but
Yeah,
boilers that,
2007.
yeah, so every year we try to at least pick a couple to like review and just either make sure that they're still okay or make changes, so.
So, depending on how they're kept, I don't know if you keep them in like a binder or what, I haven't had the chance.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, dig my heels into
They
it
are
for
a
half that
binder.
much. Like it'll say table of contents, where it says each
Yeah.
regulation with the newest revision date or review date. I mean, you could do that, and then your actual document
Yeah.
itself
Yeah.
won't have the 16 years.
I mean, it's you that has to manage the filing system.
Yes.
So if you have
well,
something
yeah,
that,
easy.
makes sense
That would
to
be,
you.
that would be
and-
my suggestion, to do that, like similar to what, I don't even look at Mary Shoulder, what she has there with what's listed as action dates, something similar to that at the beginning of your regulation, like in a binder or whatever. It
Yeah,
says what each one is and what page they're on, and the revision date on that.
and that's where we would put the forms, because I think those are useful, Mary, the ones that say, on this day, we
Well,
looked at it, did
I'm
any
looking at-
changes, we're reaffirming.
If you're
I'm looking
signing
at
it,
this
it
and
should be
some
part
of
of it.
it's redundant, it's the same thing and it's written in 2 different places. But just so that we can, and even if anybody asks, what kind of regulations or permits do I need from the Board of Health? You could
Yeah, I know.
be able to get it.
There is a
Yeah.
binder up there that's got
There
in
is,
pockets and
yeah.
sleeves with each one.
The thing that we do that I think you just mentioned, that we will, like, this is what we would do with those wood burning boiler regs, is just sign off documents saying, in March or April of 2019, we reviewed them, they're fine the way we are, so it's like we're reaffirming them. So we're not revising them.
No.
It's just a record that they were reviewed on that date, so somebody doesn't say,
Oh my
Those
God,
things
you're
around
asked
for
things in,
15
yes,
years.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So in that case, would you say
Anytime you sign anything, as far as a regulation goes, it needs to stay
Okay.
with that regulation.
stay with it, but
Mhm.
it doesn't need to be part of or referenced in the regulation? does
No,
it?
just be stuck to the back, so like,
Okay.
so
all
when
right,
at the end of your regulation, you sign it,
Yeah,
every time, if every 4 years, I gotta add that on.
Right.
Gotta
okay,
add that on.
okay.
So whether it's we put it in, I wouldn't,
Yeah, just take a look at what we have.
yeah, so that's typically what you do, anytime you sign, do anything like that,
Yeah.
I think the Board of Health votes and makes a signature on something.
Yeah.
Then that becomes part of the document, whether you have 7 of them or 2.
Okay, but when you give it to someone
When I
from
give it to
public,
someone,
they
I
just
probably
get-
would just give them the most, I'd figure out a way so they're not getting 7.
Yeah, so they're not getting
That's just
seven.
all, but the official document would have all,
Okay,
but, we can figure out a way that there's a public one for them to read that just says this is the most recent date. And
Yeah.
if they want to see the
Yeah.
signatures, they can. But we
Or
can,
even-
we can figure
even
that
a
out.
public index that says,
Yeah.
what was its original
Yeah.
date and then when was
Yeah,
it
it's the word
reaffirmed or
public,
revised?
Index of like that, yeah, they can do
Yeah.
that, we look into all those and the difference of the planning board's
Yeah.
going through all their regulations and stuff now, but fortunately they actually don't have more recent one, and they just basically replace the whole thing altogether, so they make a whole new one.
So Mary, which ones are you circling?
Oh, I'm just circling on here because they're kind of redundant. It's the same thing in 2 different places. So, excuse me, I think the ones that we're currently looking at is the health district regulations.
Yeah.
That's the ongoing.
Yeah,
Floor drains is something that Bridget, I thought, was going
I
to be
thought that
looking
was,
at.
she took that over.
I thought so.
yeah, and I know
more
I
discussion on
think
it.
it was, yeah, this is like kind of covered under something.
I'm pretty sure that was done, because she was in charge of that. You could look back on some of the.
But I don't know if we got anything. Okay, so keep for down, I'm going down. Governing keeping of animals, we did that this year.
Yeah,
We did the moratorium on the groundwater wells. We gotta get that outdoor wood burning. Private well regulations, nobody seems to know anything about that.
We couldn't go anywhere with that.
We couldn't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
No.
I think I asked the water foreman once.
nobody knows.
He said, well, that is the greatest mystery going, because they've asked. The superintendent is asked, and nobody knows anything about private well. Now, we know of a couple of companies that have their
Yeah,
own wells,
yeah.
but as far as the lifts, it's,
I'm just baffled with, in this age of
Yeah,
technology,
I
that we
know.
cannot cross-reference somewhere between
nobody knows.
tax
It's been-
collector and DPW and someone.
It
But
is
it's
amazing.
private wells, it's private wells.
But when you buy a piece of property, you would know whether you, or
I
a
think the well
house
is
you've been living in
somewhere.
forever, you would know there's a well in that property.
But you know what, can't you
There's no
see
report.
like an old house, it's been in a family
Yeah,
for a long
exactly.
time.
Yes.
There's a spigot outside. You
Yes.
turn on the spigot.
Yeah.
Where's the water coming from? Is it town water or is that actually coming
But
from
there's
the well?
nobody, and this has been asked a lot of times,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So, it's a mystery.
It is,
All right, so that was.
it is one of the greater mysteries, and if we had, about $20 million, we could probably get someone
Right,
to
yeah.
investigate. But
But the regulation, I don't think there's anything that's like changed in the regulation. I think the things that you would have to go through in order to do a private well are still
Correct,
the same.
Correct.
So that could be one of those reviewed and reaffirmed.
That would probably be the only thing.
as far as the number, like I said, everybody has questioned this and looked at it and gone before various boards
Yeah.
for years, and
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Nobody
I
knows.
mean, we knew about Pepsi down here and a couple of businesses,
yeah.
but as far as anything else, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so that's a good idea. It's not something that has to be done right away, but it's something that at some point we should have.
Yeah, and it seems like what it might be worth doing is rather than trying to get, unless, hell, you can get to all this in time for the next meeting, but to at least give you time to look at how our regulations set up, and can you find a binder to make sense, and then how do you propose that we, you know, do these reaffirmation sheets? So if you can, have some for the next meeting. But if, you know, it takes you that long to just delve into it and get a plan, then we could always do those, you know, re-signature affirmations the following meeting, I think.
Let me see what I can find here, whether it's one or two, or an idea of what it should look like. I'll try to do something at least.
Yeah, I did see, I remember Jane had the binder at a couple of meetings.
Yeah, there is a binder.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Okay, so other than that, I mean, waiting for Joan and this other one, I think we're
Yeah.
pretty up to date.
So action items for next meeting would be,
We could actually do that, right? Action item to update us on how you think the best way to do this stuff with the regs would be tracking and updating. Is that something you think you can get to?
Sure, it's 2 weeks, yeah. Oh, no, it's, the 8th. Yeah, I can try to.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
And that's the only meeting too,
Yes.
remember?
Yes, right.
April.
I'm sure I can try to get you something for that meeting.
and we're putting Joan back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try to get her, yeah.
Putting,
And remind her that this is our only, because I'm sure that she goes to so many places that she doesn't remember everything, and
And
the fact that we only have the one meeting, and then we meet the 1st and the 3rd
in
May
yes.
because of town meeting and all
Absolutely.
that holidays, so.
Well, Gary to get out of that town meeting last night.
I know,
Where am I going this
I
time?
know, you
What can I do?
went to extremes.
I did.
all right, so we have Joan, we have an update from Heather.
Yeah, and if we have an update from Bridget on this one, I have a feeling because there's stuff that we've got to work out on this aquifer that's probably not going to be a one and done review.
Okay, so-
we could at least check status.
So I'm gonna call Bridget and ask her where she is on the copy of the marked up the aquifer protection, and ask her about wood burning outdoor regulations, because
I know
That
she
was
said
passed
once that ours were
Yeah.
fine and they were
Just
very.
ask her, is she okay with us reaffirming wood burning boilers, floor drains, and private wells? Those seem like kind of brainers.
Well,
private wells. What was the other one, wood burning boilers?
Floor
Yeah.
drains.
Floor drains. I thought that was another one that was kind of like put to bed.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too, but I remember her looking at it and saying, geez, I think that might be kind of covered under septic. Well,
That,
I need to check that
Yeah,
or something,
That's what it was, I thought it had something
she
to do
had
with septic.
she had to check it, I know that.
Yeah.
All right.
But beyond that, I don't remember, and I'm
And then
trying to
we'll-
think if there was something else she was supposed to be checking.
Well, that is in pretty good shape though with the, I don't think I have my list of rooms in this package. If we do those,
Yes.
that'll
Yeah.
kind of get us up to reasonably up to date here, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you mentioned you had wanted to get to hear what the superintendent was going to update on that PFAS.
Oh, yeah. When
Which
is
he
that?
did.
That's.
He did that at the last selectmen's meeting, plus there was a room full of people here.
But then there's a public forum coming up on that.
I saw something online, Mark Wetzel was
Right,
presenting,
Mark
but it must have been
Wetzel,
when you were at the select.
It was at the selectmen's
Yeah.
meeting, he did
It's the
it.
19th?
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't
Am
come.
I like a daily knowledge? Yeah, it's entirely possible.
yeah, he did because there was a whole room full of people here.
Yeah, there was, because the article came out in the Globe that
Well,
we're all
he
going back
was-
and forth on.
Well, because they didn't quote him properly
Right.
in the article in Red Globe when they called him prior to get some information on all this.
Yeah.
And they did not quote him properly, and he said it came out that it wasn't very flattering to him, I guess, so he spoke about this at the selectmen's meeting. Laurie Nearing was here too, a lot of
What
people
were
were.
all the meetings, the emails flying around today about, please confirm speakers and such? Did you saw that? Did you get that?
From who?
I didn't even notice who they were coming from. I think it might have been
To you?
Laurie. Yeah, but I think it's just like a Board of Health.
No, I haven't checked my email before it came down. I haven't seen anything current. She might have just sent it to you, Pam, for you to pass on.
What is this?
something
Really
from
good job of
Pace.
it, am I?
Something from Pace?
No, it was about a public information session. There's Rick Doherty is going to speak, Matt Wetzel. I think it's something that Pace is putting together.
Yes, they are. Laurie Nearing did mention something about
Yeah.
a PACE meeting, but I
Okay.
didn't.
That's what it was about, and I'm just trying to get a fix on what date that was. 'Cause
Is it
was-
here or was it?
It's in April. No, it's not a round meeting. It's a.
Pace is sponsoring it, you think?
I think so.
I think so too. I would have that information in my other notebook, my Board of Selectmen stuff, but she was talking about that.
I didn't see any email, so, Pace.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Rab, it was.
No, it's
She
not.
mentioned
It's not
Rick
Rab.
Doherty, she did mention
Yeah.
Mark.
There's someone, oh my God, he's not like a health scientist from, I don't know if he's Mass DEP, and I.
The next Devon's Restoration Advisory Board meeting, this is from Pace, is Thursday, April 12th
Okay, go ahead.
at the Ayer Town Hall. Topic will center around PFAS and include summary on the completed inspection at former Fort Devens, a briefing on additional groundwater investigations at Devens Fire Station and other long-term monitoring sites that were sampled for PFAS, briefing on the latest drinking water PFAS test results from the Ayer and Devens water supply wells and system. And the fourth is update on the investigation for PFAS at former Fort Devens, including current schedule and priorities. So that was posted by Pace. Oh, guess what? That's an old one. It's not updated.
Now, she did talk about something.
March 12th, that was Mark Wetzel's.
Yeah, it was just like flying around from today's or possibly end of last week's
No, I guess this is
emails.
March 20th.
But she did say it because, like I said, the whole room was full of people that had questions.
I should have written down the meeting I did, but I think we have a meeting before that. Our next meeting is the 8th. Yeah, but it's after our April 8th meeting, so
Yeah, yes, it is.
I'll
That
email
much
the
I-
two of you, I'll forward to you, Trish, and I'll send that to you also, Melissa.
Yeah, that was, the last one was, I was mistaken on that date. The last update on that was March 19th. And that was quoting Mark Wetzel's, and it's also the
At the
meeting.
selectmen's
Yeah,
meeting.
the one that
Yeah.
you were at, Mary,
Yeah.
that was on the town. You can watch the video.
Yeah, I think this was, and granted, I was going through emails quickly by the time I got to this. It was confirming speakers, and so Mike Wetzel confirmed, somebody else confirmed, and I believe it was more like a public information
I think you're right.
session.
I think you're right.
So
Yep.
maybe we can get a hold of Lori.
It was sometime in April.
Should we send Lori an email and just ask her to give us that information? Or
I think we actually have it in the email. I can respond back to her email.
Okay.
I'll look and see what night of the week it is, and as long as it's not a Thursday, I'll just let her know that I can go. And then you can decide.
Or if it's a Thursday, I can try and go. One of us,
Okay, all right.
because you're still unavailable then.
I can see George.
All right. So, if that's all we have.
Yeah, because she did speak about this for quite a bit on,
Lori?
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that there probably has enough, seams built under it, that it's about time to have some kind of public information, rather than doing it at like selectmen's and pace and.
Well, that's what they were trying to move along, because
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
in the middle of the selectmen's meeting and a lot of people there, because of course, everything that had been out this summer and what's going on with the wells and the drinking water and
Yeah,
all
we
this
made the
and
front
that.
page of the Globe.
I know, so that sheds light on it too, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
All right.
I'll forward you both.
Okay, great.
So I think we're pretty well set as
Yes.
far as the next meeting, the agenda.
Yep.
So if there's nothing else, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.